John Locke, Blank Slate Theory by Annika Miller. John Locke was born in 1632 and died in 1704. He was an English philosopher, empiricist, and educationalist. Locke wrote an essay concerning human understanding in 1689, and it would be in this work where he mentioned the idea of tabula rasa for the first time. In his work, An Essay Concerning Human Understanding, Locke stated that he believed that children were born with blank slates, beginning their lives as morally neutral. This meant that since everyone was born with a tabula rasa, a blank slate, no one was inherently superior to anyone else. Everyone was at the same level, an even playing field until they were taught otherwise. While Locke believed in this idea of tabula rasa, he did not think that the mind was completely blank or empty prior to experiences that a child had. He believed there was something there, but that because of their blank slate, moral behavior had not been established. And also because of this, Locke believed that his theory of tabula rasa was more nurture than nature, as adults, guardians, or educators could be the ones guiding the hand for the children, instilling in them good behavior. Locke also believed that an ideal education would instill a strong moral sense in young children. He figured if they were taught virtue, wisdom, breeding, and learning, this could be used as their foundation to build upon their blank slate they were born with. To teach children about morality, Locke used imaginative literature and the fine arts. He advocated for two forms of literature that would be best to teach children about morals, and those were fables and religious works. Locke used fables, mostly Aesop's fables, like the tortoise and the hare, to promote the use of these fables for a teaching tool because of the strong moral message that it would give the children after they were taught them. He also recommended using religious works to help teach children, and he was born into a Puritan family, and he would have been using the Bible because Puritans usually used the Bible to teach and could only read from those. Locke knew a child's mind was particularly impressionable at a young age, and through the education their minds could be shaped. The child's nature and personality would develop over time with the guidance from adults who had a close relationship to that child. These adults and educators would be able to greatly influence a child in regards to their morality, especially if their guardian was able to be in charge of their education firsthand. The more interaction they had with their elders, the more they were taught about morality and how it develops the young mind. Parents could then mold their children with careful consistency because they had access to their child and could give them the information that they needed. It would be easy for these children to then gain a particular perspective based on what their parent or teacher taught them. Locke thought that the mind was similar to a white paper, void of all characters, which meant that each person was able to start completely anew. They would then be able to author their own soul, letting them decide what to believe, but with the guidance from parents. After a while, they would be able to have their own opinions and about morality from their learning, and he believed that materials of reason and knowledge were taken from experience, so it had to be done firsthand through empirical reasoning. And then Locke believed that there were three different types of actions to putting simple ideas together. The first was to combine ideas of complex ideas, and these made up ideas of substances and ideas of modes. The ideas of substances were independent existences, like God, angels, humans, and constructed things, and ideas of modes were dependent existences, like mathematical reasoning, moral ideas, conventional language of religion, politics, and culture. The second was that the mind performs, and that it brings two ideas together, whether simple or complex, by one another, so as to take a view of them at once without uniting them. The third was the production of general ideas by abstraction, This leaves out particular circumstances of time and place, which would then limit the application of idea of a particular individual. As for classroom applications, it was recommended that students have more focus, and we don't want to lower the bar so that they concede, but we want to lift them up so they can be where everyone else is. And just spend more time with them if you can to bring them up to where everybody else is. And give them more rigor, or give the students, you can give them reading text, and it might be hard for them to read a lot, but if you give them the opportunity to participate and learn, you'll be bringing up those skills and knowledge for them that way. And then practice. Have somebody who is an expert in the field of that subject area, but also include activities that they can use, so it's not always reading and not always writing, but it's fun, interactive things. And I'd found another one where it talked about starting your classroom off as a blank slate, so there's nothing on the walls, no posters or anything, and you start with your students from the beginning of the year, and you start adding posters to the wall. But I wasn't sure how this would affect maybe elementary or secondary students because of how bare it looks, and it might seem intimidating